morning. This morning, I do love to watch Ellie Down Under. And she always gets such interesting topics. Excuse me. So this morning, the topic was, oh my God, my throat is just... I sound like I'm underwater. But the reading she was doing this morning was on Donald Trump and Hitler, okay? And I said, oh, that's really interesting. I think I'm going to throw the cards as well and see what I get. And she, just did the first layer, and I'm throwing cards. And very dark, oh my goodness. And basically, it looks like it's going the same direction that her reading is, which is, so often they dovetail. So what did I get for this? Oh my God. First card out is he is beleaguered with mental afflictions, and his feeling of, he had a very difficult time with his dad in some respects. And I just saw in here, there is a box there. And I've never seen this in the card before, because these cards are dark, But yeah, there's a box with a lid on it, and he's just cowering there with all these thoughts and things going on with him. In a way, he's a bit of a coward, not somebody real confident in himself, although he boasts, all the time, tries to make himself bigger than life, but really underneath of it all, he's just driven by these dark thoughts, So the conflict, what we have going here is he's, like staying in the past, in some sort of a fantasy past, trying to make it something really other than what it is. I get with that. Trying to make his boyhood into something better, his conscious thoughts are about world, dominating, being able to control, dominate, being seen in the world, okay. Yeah, that's his conscious thoughts. The way he sees himself is, being able to work with others to bring forward some sort of a dark agenda, okay? Having those around him, and that's the way he's always worked. He's always been able to gather ones around him and spin a good yarn and get them to do his bidding. Just like Hitler was able to crank up, to get people to do his bidding. Subconscious thoughts are about, whatever opportunity he can get for himself. Above it, we have him as the brooding one in power, in control, okay? Being able to control what's coming. Subconscious thoughts are about, how can I take these and act in the world? How can I bring these to my benefit? Beneath it, foundation, this is my path forward. This is my way forward. Okay, I can gather these people around, can control this thing, and go forward. In the past, This is something he's driven to do. Where he's walking, where he's going is built on his emotion, his emotional drama. Hopes and fears, the death card, okay? Like Hitler, wanting to control, being able to get rid of his enemies, to make a massive change, okay? And he doesn't care how he does it. The short term, he's looking at this as a way that he can use these things, same thing like Hitler had done to infect the minds of people. And the ulterior motive is the U.S. To control it, and this is my card for America. So to be able to go in there and change the minds, to be able to control, to be able to have a position of power over the U.S., over people, and get rid of his enemies. Okay, be able to get rid of his enemies and have other people surround him, playing into this, doing his bidding. I'm just like, oh my goodness. Because it's all coming out of his mind that he's driven by I've got to succeed. I'm never a failure. And he's always driven by these thoughts, and he can never accept failure. Pandora's box. Oh, that box can never be opened, okay? Because in his mind, he's got this fantasy version that he continues to play out. You're the good boy. You're the smart boy. You're the, like she said, the mommy aspect. And this one also, shows the mommy aspect. Because he's driven by these thoughts. Really, of not being good enough. And so he's going to overcompensate and live in a fantasy world in which he is a world controller, a world dominator, okay? Because he knows the way to con people, to pull them into his energy, and can find a way that he can use any opportunity to his advantage, and he sees that as the path forward, okay? And he doesn't care if it's done by death. He doesn't care. I'm going to put an end, a change to the system. This is my path forward to change the minds of America, to change these things and be able to dominate, okay? Dark reading. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to close this here and see what the rest of Ellie is getting. I just gotten to the first couple of her cards, reading the first three. Okay, so I want to see what the rest of her reading is going to get. And I've got a feeling it's going to be just as dark as the one that I got. And I'm just like, oh, it's just, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But it didn't end well for Hitler. And it's not going to end well for he who shall not be named as well. It's not going to end well for him either. So you would think he would look at the ending of the story, okay, rather than just these. But he in his mind, he thinks, oh, these were the failings of Hitler. I can do better. I can use this type of methodology of the way that he controlled people with his speeches, make it bigger than life and get everybody on board to divide and conquer. Remember, Mein Kampf, divide and conquer, okay? And that's his vision. I can divide and conquer. I'll get all the white supremacists Instead of against Jewish people, we're going to be against Mexicans, those of dark colored skin. Same drama as Hitler. Okay? The superiority thing. Okay? We're going to elevate here and try to repress down here and make these ones that have been in power, make them feel even more empowered, and put the fear of others into the people in order to control. So very similar mindsets. And out of the same type of thing, Hitler was not a dynamic person. He was a failed person within himself. And then he discovered that he has this ability to con men, to bring forth out of speeches this ability to draw them together. And he used to practice these speeches in the mirror. He would practice doing these speeches, how to ramp up these people, how to keep, putting these fantasies in place, okay, to dominate and control and divide. Bring up superiority and then talk about inferiority and superiority. And this fed the egos of some, okay, but through the repression of others. And his thing also was to exterminate, okay, get rid of those, that are in your way, just as Trump wants to use those of darker skin color, okay, as a way to get rid of them, especially anyone wanting to come into this country. We don't want them here. We're going to repress. We're going to get rid of them. So that same basic type of a mindset. Oh my goodness. And like I said, his other one he has in power, what's his name escapes me now, the Jewish guy, but every time I see him, Miller, every time I see Miller, I see him in his former life as an SS person with the scar on his face. I just see it very clearly with him. Now, usually I don't see this with people, but with him, the minute I saw him, immediately I saw this imposed over him, superimposed over him what he was. Male in his last life, SS officer, one that had the scar on the face because they went to some sort of a school thing where they did these with the swords. And so it was a badge of honor if you got, caught doing this dueling stuff thing that they were doing, okay? And he's still carrying that energy today. The universe said, oh, you hate Jews and you've done all of these horrible things. We're going to make you Jewish in the next lifetime. Well, he's not. Obviously, he has not learned his lesson because he's still in that SS mindset that he was in from the former life, and he's carried that through. Unbelievable. So he came in with that tendency, and he, carried it forward in the same manner, and done as much as he can from that mindset in his position of power in he who shall not be named administration. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here, just, but not a surprise now. I'm really interested to see what the rest of Ellie's reading is going to be, and if it's going to tally with what I got in here. I love to watch her because she always gets such really interesting things to read on. So I do many times like to throw the cards as well and see what I'm getting, and how it's going to tally with what her reading is. And most often than not, they really dovetail into the same outcome, the same reading, the same type, although we don't get exactly the same cards. Although she got as her first card the Empress, I got it as my last card. Okay, so again, very similar, but we just sometimes you see it from a little different perspective comes in. So love and light, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you online.